getting expelled from summer school. Yes, they actually do that, and yes, it happened to me. So, I'm happy to tell you all about it. If you could please just hit that subscribe button, I would really appreciate it. If not, it's no big deal. And if it's your first time, thank you for coming to my channel. If you're returning, thank you as well for coming back to my channel. And here we go. So, this took place my summer between 10th and 11th grade. I have had summer school every year since I was in the 6th grade, I think. So that's just always been a part of my schedule. Summer school is just like a fact of life, was a fact of life. So that year, I'm constantly trying to catch up on credits. I was just not giving a shit about school as I was going through it and having to really like pay for it towards the end, like especially towards the end. So, anyways, we're doing summer school at a school that is like it's a middle school that's next to the high school because our high school was getting construction done on it. Okay. So we're at a school that's like 2 blocks away. It's very close. And it's even closer to like my house, my apartment and shit. So that's where the summer school was. And I can remember this day very clearly because I had court on the exact day of the first day of summer school. And it was, I think my court date was at like 8 or 8:30 or something like that, and that was what time it started, and I had to be there for 2 hours, and then another, I was there for English and math, so I had to be there for 2 hours, then you get a break and then another 2 hours. So like I can remember, I was at court that morning. I already that story is on here. And I get out of court, and I'm like fuck. So I have to go to luckily it wasn't the criminal court or anything. It was just the juvenile court, and so I go to the school, and when I get there, I walk in, and I've already missed the first half and break. So I'm walking in like 30 minutes late to the second of two classes. And when I walk in, the teacher who's teaching that shit is the teacher that I had for the year before that like didn't really like me and like yelled at me a lot and stuff, and I was like, oh god damn it. Like it was just like the worst. I always get hit with that. Like just like when I got expelled from my first high school, it's like it couldn't just be the security guard. It has to be the teacher that hates me filling in for the security guard. Like it's crazy. So, anyways, when we're at the school, like I I run into some people there that I see, and I'm like, it's whatever. And the very next day, I can remember that was my first full day. So my first full day comes around, and you know, we would get there, and this school, it had this really long ledge that went all the way from the front of the school all the way to the street. So it just had this super, like, I swear it was like 20 feet long, maybe even longer. So what kids would do is between classes or like before summer school or whatever, they would all hang out on that wall right there, and we would just smoke. Whether it was a blunt, whether it was a cigarette, whether it was, I can remember using a kitchen lighter and using a pipe just like right there, like not even trying to like hide from anyone or anything. And we were just kind of like bold like that, not in a smart way, obviously, but we were just like thought we were fucking adults and shit, and like obviously we weren't. So that like I and the reason that I remember that day is because going into my English class for the first time, I had a friend in that class, and he was mixed, where like his mom was from like England and his dad was like African American, like jazz player and stuff. So he was mixed, and like he was a very good friend of mine. But when we went into we were in the room, we had the class together, and we were reading like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest or some shit, and I just remember the teacher called my friend, and I'm quoting him. This is not me talking. This is what the teacher said in front of the whole class. He straight up called him a half breed. And I just remember like people kind of like looking around, but like nobody said anything. And then I was the one like that, I don't know, I was probably faded or something. Like it hit me kind of late, and I was like, "Wait, what did you just call him?" And the teacher kind of was like, like he kind of like backpedaled. Like it was kind of funny. Like it almost went under the radar, but I was just like sitting in the corner, just like scribbling, and I was like, "Wait, what did you just call him?" And like I think I said like, "Are you gonna let him call you that?" Like or something. So I can remember that day. Okay, and then I don't even think I went to the other part of it. I don't even think I went, to be honest with you, because when I saw that it was that teacher, I was like, man, that's not going to turn out well for me. So, but I needed the credits. I needed at least some credits. So I did need to be there, and I did end up paying for this later. So, day 3 of summer school. Day 3, unknowingly to me, would be my last day. Day 3, we are on break between the first class and the second class. And because the classes are block schedule and they're 2 hours, they give you a little bit more time, like between classes or whatever, like that they probably would in regular, the way that they usually schedule, or that I was used to it being scheduled instead of like block schedule was new to me. That shit was weird. I'm used to one class, 1 hour, 6 classes or whatever. So that was definitely different. Anyways, it's on the break, and everybody's on the wall. Everyone's just chilling on the wall, and people are smoking their cigarettes, and people are rolling up, whatever. And I have a cigarette, and I'm smoking a cigarette, and I'm just like minding my own business, talking to some people. But where I fucked up was I had my back angled to the back of the school. I was facing the street. Like imagine that the street was like in front of me, so I could not see behind me or anybody, if anybody was coming or anything like that. Like I was just angled the wrong way. Thinking about it with hindsight, I should have been turned around so I could see if anybody was coming and I could try to put it behind my back. But that's what I was saying about like the boldness of just kind of like not giving a shit and not being smart about it either. So I'm just like leaned up. I like leaned up against the wall for a second, and I'm just smoking my cigarette, my Marlboro 27, and all of a sudden this fucking guy comes up out of nowhere, and he like grabs my arm, and he's like, "Put that out and come with me." And but he's like kind of like moving me too, so I just kind of like throw the cigarette butt or whatever, kind of, and he doesn't say anything to me. He's like, come with me. So he grabs me, and the crazy thing is, I'm the only one that gets taken. There were more people than me smoking. There were other people smoking weed. There was other people doing whatever. Obviously, I'm not gonna point that out in my like while it's happening, but I'm just saying it seemed like they singled me the fuck out because I was not the only one smoking. So they pull me into this room, and I'm in this room, and I'm waiting there, and all of a sudden the prince or the dean or whatever the fuck, principal, whatever, from Redondo, he comes in, and he's this like bald-headed guy, and he like looks down at like some papers, and then he like looks up at me, and then he goes, 3 days, huh? And I was like, and he's like, well, you're done with summer school, get out of here. And I can remember being like, okay. And I grabbed my little penny board, my skateboard, and I just walked out of that office, and I just threw my skateboard down, and I skated home, and I was like, hey, guess I'm done with summer school. I'm gonna have a more summertime to do shit. And that's basically how that went down. But obviously those credits didn't just get added to my list of credits. I had to, like, that was a waste, and I had to go get those later on, and everything added up, and I barely was able to make it out of fucking high school. So like I ended up paying for it in the long run. Like, this was just one example of a million ways that I fucked my credit up, and like, with in regards of graduating high school, and like just not understanding the system and how it worked, and thinking that I could just get sent through to any other level like how it had been before. So anyways, that summer I got into so much shit. I could make a whole fucking hour long video about that summer, but I'd rather split it up into events like I've been doing. So anyways, that's how I got expelled from summer school. It does happen. I've been kicked out of a lot of different places. Never thought that would be one of them, but it is what it is. So hope you guys have a good weekend. Peace.